20 hours that day, you get paid 20 hours. I mean,
That's fair.
what the hell's a salary? It's just an indenturement. Yeah, I did that with a few firms I worked for. It's just, you're kidding me.
Okay.
The idea of an 8-hour workday in architecture just doesn't exist. So.
Go ahead.
Can I ask some practical questions?
Absolutely.
Just to understand a little bit more about how you yourself have operated in a firm. Is a large firm, small firm?
Small.
Small.
If I have my way, I'll never have more than like 3 people.
Okay, so it's very small. Okay. No, and do you try to seek outside work? Do you stay specifically within Colorado Springs? Do you search for European jobs or Asian jobs? Do they come to you?
You know, in the past, it's really interesting. When this recession hit, literally, I had the same story everyone else. I had more work than I could deal with. Right, I'd just taken on a partner. We were absolutely swamped. We were looking to hire people. We were looking for new office space. We were looking to expand, and then all of a sudden, in a 1-month period, just everything evaporated. Everything got canceled. Most of it. Within 4 months, we were like,
Yeah.
thank God we didn't sign a lease. Woo, thank goodness we're slow to react that way.
Yeah.
I think pursuing international work, I really saw it as really risky because there was so much work here. But the recession has been almost cleansing. I'm almost glad it happened. I have absolutely stopped responding to any RFP. I haven't chased a single school. The Colorado Department of Education sends me all RFPs. I know all those guys. I've actually gotten a phone call asking why I have not submitted, because I'm one of the usual suspects. And the architects right now, they're seeing how fast they can raise to a 0% fee and still pay taxes. And they're just undercutting each other. It takes us decades to recover from that. I don't see fees coming back. I just stopped. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. So I've ripped my firm apart, and I've actually started adopting a little bit more of what I want to do. And so I'm starting to get alignments with manufacturers and directors and stuff like that, and starting getting designs that start to use some of these components and a whole series of new designs and things that I want to start putting out. But I've also realized that the system here is, and I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do, but pursuing international work is definitely something I'll do. And you can't just march over there and just...
No, yeah. Take me.
Yeah, just, let's do a brochure and mail it out. Let's do a mailer. No, it doesn't work that way. You can't use those. So there's alliances, there's relationships. They're tenuous, they're long-term. It takes you a long time. It's not something you can just go roll into. So yeah, there's a lot of associations. So even how to do that is something that we're really starting to kind of look into.
Yeah. Now, for people coming out of school, specifically, us, what do you recommend for us? Do you recommend that we stay in the United States and figure out and experience the recession here and how it's being dealt with here? Do you suggest that we try to find foreign jobs?
Yeah.
Or do you suggest that we just go do something else?
No. I've got this really whacked out theory that this is the most blessed time to be an architect. This is literally, statistically, figuratively, a new renaissance. The last time this many topologies crashed and new ones were made was literally the Renaissance. We are experiencing the new one. Values and norms are in huge flux. The last time we had this many was the turn of the century. And look what happened at the turn of the century. We had Einstein, we had Freud, we had communism, we had almost the new American Revolution, we had the Industrial Revolution, we had major migrations from rural areas, an agrarian nation, to city centers. This was 100 years ago. And look how fast typologies are being made and broken. Stuff's outdated in a year now. You won't finish construction. And the growth is so big. It's the proverbial, they finished the highway for the growth numbers 10 years ago, and before, they're Well, it's because there's more people. And there wasn't a birth rate punch, right? There's people moving in. So I would suggest that you match society as much as possible and be as flexible, develop a flexible attitude, develop a highly, embrace the reality of the collaborative nature of it. And if you don't mind, I would learn how to work internationally as much as possible. How is your generation not going to be doing that anyway? I mean, and it's y'all's generation. We kind of have, I'm part of a kind of an X generation. Right? If you've noticed, there's only 2 or 3 people who can fill everyone's space who's about to die. There's a bunch of star architects who are, late 60s, 70s, and 80s. They're not going to last long. So there's not a whole lot of my age who are going to fill that gap. It's you guys who are going to fill that gap. We still have one foot in a dead system, and we're trying to put the other foot in the other one, right? So it's you guys who are going to do that. You're going to have to be working on a global economy, and it's just, what choice do you have? What choice do you have? It's just a matter of practicality. So if you can go work in Iceland, or go work in Germany, or France, or whatever. I mean, I would encourage all of you to end up being Jeffersonians. Very much understanding the science of things, the reality. Speak 7 languages if you can. At least be willing to go for it. Learn to work. Embrace. Get rid of American exceptionalism. That was a myth when it was formed. Right. We just had the freedom to exercise whatever. We're suffering the fact that we have no responsibility tagged to that freedom. Freedom requires responsibility. It's just become an entitled culture, which is eat, drink, and entertain yourself to death. And look at our architecture, look at our products, look at our social systems. Evidence is everywhere. I mean, don't deny it. So I would go work. I would go figure that out. It's interesting. I work with some, and this is a really good analogy for you guys to kind of close this thing out. I work with a charity that kind of works with, it's not really orphanages, they're trying to get the orphanages closed in Europe and get the foster care system going, which, it was amazing that people haven't figured that one out yet. We would go to Russia, right? It's just depressing, right? The kids they want out. All the young kids, they want out. They do not want to be Russians. Period. You go to Romania, they definitely want out, and they want to go out, but they want to come back. They want to go learn things and bring stuff in. They want to fix what they know is broken. And these are the young kids, okay, university level. And I helped put 2 kids through university. So, and they've done this. They've come back. You go to like Hungary, and they're like, "Why would we leave? This is a great place, right?" What's the difference? What it was communism, right? In Hungary, it never took over. They kicked them out. They came in, conquered them, and then they revolted and kicked them out. In Romania, there were still grandparents left who remembered what it was before that kind of grind you to powder society existed. And in Russia, it's been this long, no one was there. It was just a completely despotic, hopeless place. So, and I really equate that to this scenario. I mean, don't embrace all this kind of American myth that you have. Freedom's a great thing, but there's an enormous amount of responsibility for it, right? And even when this country was founded, I mean, it was an international, France funded most of our war. It wouldn't have happened, period, right? It was an international, diplomatic, global, I mean, the Dutch loaned us all the money too. What we didn't get, we were loaned. Right? That's what John Adams had to go do, was secure the loans, right? So this is what Ben Franklin did. He was our diplomat to France, and just kind of this whole freedom idea and this democracy. This is still an experiment, but this experiment needs to go out and bring all the other experiments in and just connect all the dots. You can't do it here, I don't think. So I would encourage you guys to go, and you're young, you can do it.